here to discuss an analysis of diagnostic reports and real-time AI performance monitoring. Please welcome President and CEO of Bialogics, Jeff Bichon, and our own James Holroyd. Big round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. So Jeff, I thought we could start off, if you wouldn't mind, introducing Bialogics and yourself.
Thanks, James. So I'm Jeff, I've mentioned. Bialogics is a unique company. We specialize in medical imaging data and the management of that. We create an ecosystem of all of the data that's used by medical applications in radiology, and we put that into a completely vendor-agnostic, interoperable database. So with the data, we incorporate things like all the metadata coming from your DICOM headers, your HL7 messages, RVU data, physician scheduling data. So we are a one-stop shop for all of your data. Now, most recently, we've now started to develop out AI performance and monitoring. And with our partnership with Blackford, we've now worked with them to take the output of your algorithms and then incorporate the output with all of that data that we have to provide real-time monitoring of all of your AI algorithms. So that's a little bit about us. We provide all sorts of business intelligence and clinical intelligence, looking through natural language processing to be able to develop very detailed cohorts that, again, are used for either prospective or retrospective AI analysis, and have that as a capability to augment the actual AI algorithms themselves.
Great, thanks, Jeff. Would you mind just talking us through what specific challenges you're looking to help solve?
Well, the challenges are a couple of things. First off, from a market perspective, first, the AI is coming to radiology, and it will be more and more adopted over time. But one of the things that are holding up as we talk to our customers is that they have no way of implementing AI and then monitoring the impact it has on the radiology department. Is it improving the workflow of the radiologist? Is it decreasing the turnaround times and read times? Or is it actually causing more confusion and all of that? So these are things that require monitoring, and you can't fix something unless you monitor it and too. So the deployment of AI really requires that. Now, in order to provide AI monitoring, there's a lot of data that goes into that. We need all of the DICOM data. Now, that's important because most of the AI algorithms, there's no standard yet that says, okay, all algorithms are going to report in the same way. So we have to interpret the DICOM header to see where that algorithm is putting its output and different outputs in different times. So we have to be able to really analyze the DICOM header for the outputs of the AI. We have to then be able to see what that is against the reports that the physicians are finalizing, going through natural language processing, so that we're able to compare the clinical source of truth, the radiologist, with the algorithm in the AI. So being able to provide real-time monitoring now gives the client confidence that, okay, we can track our AI, what it's doing to the organization, and is it changing as we change demographics? Because wherever that AI data was used, is that the same as my demographic in my local community? So there's a lot of challenges that has to create an AI-ready platform before you even turn that AI algorithm on. And so this is where we've been working with Blackford. Of course, they're the experts in all the AI algorithms, and we've partnered up to design the monitoring capabilities for the algorithms that you're using.
Great, thank you. Perhaps you could give us a bit of an overview on how it works.
So we look at least initially, I think that this will evolve over time, but initially there's a few ways to monitor AI. First off, looking for polarity. Polarity is it positive? Was the AI algorithm, did it find a finding, a clinical finding? Is it positive for a clinical finding? And then we marry that to the radiologist. Was it a clinical finding? And that allows us to do predictive values. And so now we look at this and go, okay, is it a true positive, meaning both the radiologist and AI agreed, or is it a false positive? Is it a true negative or false one? And that in itself gets calculated into sensitivity and specificity. And that's the first measurement of how accurate is the AI algorithm aligning with the source of truth from the radiologist. So then we'll come to operational performance in a minute. Then the second way to do that is some of the algorithms do a confidence score. So the algorithm will say we're 100% confident that this finding is true, or 70% confident. So then we have confidence to say, well, how accurate do we believe the AI algorithm is compared to the radiologist again? So that's a big indicator of just how well, especially if the radiologist is going to read this in real time, how well he's going to look at that and see the interpretation. And then the other real most important piece is the concordance discordance. How often does the AI algorithm match what the radiologist is doing? And so if we monitor that, now there's quite a few variations of that, what that change could be. And so it's important to not only look at it on an individual basis, but we want to do some predictives. We have to look at a trend of the concordance and discordance. And that means, I'm sorry, I'm told I gotta. So that means the trend has got to, we've got to look at the trend of where the concordance and discordance is varying. And so if it does create more discordance, meaning less agreement between the two, why is that? Is it because a protocol has changed? Is it because a certain scanner is not as good as the next scanner? Is it the algorithm itself and the demographic that it's looking for? So is it some body part that is not working as well? So there's many things. So we have to monitor that discordance and then be able to drill into that to see why their variations are. So concordance and discordance, looking at it by gender, by weight, by age, all of that is a real indicator of the success or the lack of success between the radiologist and the AI system. So those are just, I think, the very first core monitoring capabilities to track our AI. And so that's a trick. Now, the challenge with that is there's a lot of data that goes into that. And so when we say, well, are you AI ready? Are you AI data ready? What that means is that if you want to implement AI, but you want to provide that monitoring, there's a lot to do. You have to look at, being able to analyze your DICOM headers. You have to be able to look at your HL7 data to see where it's impacting the radiology workflow. But you also need the natural language processing and being able to do very complex searches with natural language processing to be able to create those cohorts of data that you need to look at. So our approach with Blackford has been really good, and Clientic, so that as the AI algorithms run through the platforms from Blackford, we take their data out, we combine it with all the metadata that's being incorporated through the radiology department, and then we're able to produce those monitoring algorithms the monitoring dashboards that enable the radiologist to always look back and go, well, I'm evaluating two different types of AI algorithms. I can see which one now is more accurate than the other. Or over the last 3 months, are we drifting in certain areas? Is there certain, if we've changed a CT, or what's the impact? So it gives more confidence in AI and transparency to the AI, so that we know that we're implementing AI now. It's impacting, it has a positive impact in the department, but more so we're tracking the success of the AI, so we have confidence now. It's not a black box anymore that you put in and try and hope that it's making successful change. This way we can track it. So that's a little bit about what we're doing and our relationship with Blackford.
Great, thank you very much. So we'd like to open it up to questions. We've got quite a crowd now. Those at the back, feel free to ask questions too. Any questions at all?
shy, right?
Yeah, don't be shy. Any questions at all?
Some of the questions that we've received at the booth and that is, people will say, okay, what if I start now and I start turning on all this data? How do I look back to develop my cohorts of data? So one of the things that we're able to do in the database is to not only start by bringing in this data immediately, but go back. So we have customers that have said, well, we want to incorporate 10 years worth of radiology reports, which we ingest into the database, into a structured format in the database, so that now when you're building that cohort of patients or when you're looking for that research, you're actually able to go back 10 years or however many millions of studies that allow you those very complex, detailed SNOMED concept type searches for the accuracy of your cohorts. So those are some of the things that are the first questions that are asked for.
Jeff, I'll ask a question for you. So we've been getting lots of positive feedback. What's the feedback been so far of the last couple of days?
It's been great, actually. It's an eye-opener, I think, for a lot of customers, because they realize now, as I said earlier, everybody is heading in the AI direction. But I think there's a limited amount of people that really understand the data that's going to be required in order to do it successfully. Yeah. So the whole AI readiness piece is an eye-opener, I think. But I think the other thing I can honestly say, the reception has been extremely well to say that we now have a way to monitor the success of the AI. And I think the combination, we're very synergistic in the development of the AI algorithms, which we're not, but the monitoring of those and putting it in a simple to use format, great graphics and charts and so on. This data is all live, so that even as a radiologist is reading and looking at and having patients come through an algorithm, they can see immediately just how they're lining up with the AI. So that helps them with their accuracy and their reporting as well. So
great.
Seems to be good.
Great, fantastic. Any final questions before we wrap up? No? Okay, well, thank you very much.